Hi there guys, we just arrived at Bayswater Day Ticket Lake. It's a typical venue you'll find up and down the country, absolutely full of fish, loads of 20-pounders in here. First things first, we're going to have a walk around. I'm not going to take all the gear, just the water butt, try and locate some fish, and then we'll come back and get the rest of the stuff shortly. Right, I've decided to go in Peg 8 on Bayswater Day Ticket Lake. We've seen quite a few fish showing out here in the open water, just left of those pylon wires. I could put all my eggs in one basket, you know, get the spod rod out, bomb the living hell out of it and get set for the night straight away, and it probably would work. But I don't think it's necessary. There's quite a few fish about. I'm just going to flick a couple of little sticks out, try and catch a couple, and if I carry on watching where they're showing, it might give me a better insight into where I need to place my baits for the night. Right, we're into the first one of the session. There's been quite a few fish showing out there and I was starting to get itchy feet. I'd moved the rod and I was starting to think that they might be off the bottom. You know, the lack of activity on the rods was suggesting that I should have had a bite, but I gave it a little bit longer, the rod's gone off and we're into a fish. Here he is, first one of the session, cracking 21.5 mirror. He fell to a little cell wafter, mesh bag of response pellet, fished on a new crank choddy hook, and he was absolutely nailed. Lovely. Right, I've just put the fish back and I've recast the rod. When I felt lead down this time, it absolutely banged down, properly solid. I've marked the line just in case it's an area I want to investigate later. Hopefully I'll get another bite. You know, I've got those little mesh bags of pellets on and I'm hoping that's got enough pulling power to pull the fish down and get a bite. But the water's quite murky and for the amount of activity that's out there, I think I should be catching more. So whether I get a bite or not, I'm probably going to investigate that area with the braid on the marker rod, just a bare lead, try and find a clean bit of bottom, and I'll probably spot some pellets out there, keep it nice and simple, you know, just straight pellet, maybe a few crumb boilies in amongst it, nice and cheap, nice and easy. And I think later on this evening I should be able to generate more action, you know, a few more bites. They could possibly be off the bottom. There's definitely the chance of that. It's quite muggy, you know, it's 10 odd foot deep out there, and there's every chance they could be off the bottom. But I think to generate a really decent hit, you know, I need that patch of bait, the oil coming up of the pellets should pull them down, and all being well, we should get a few. Right, I've spent a lot of time leading around out there and I found the spot I wanted. A nice bit of clean ground, can feel a few exposed stones through the mud. That indicates to me that the fish have fed there before and it's a nice spot to put a bait on. To make sure that I can get back on that spot time and time again, there's a simple concept using signet distance sticks. Place them exactly one rod length apart, so you stick one pole in by the tip and one in by the butt section. And then always place the lead on the left-hand side, because I can remember your odds and evens that way. And you simply take the line from one stick to the other, wrapping it round at the ends until you get to your desired mark. In my case, it was 15 rod lengths, which is 60 yards. And now that I know that, all I have to do is do the same with my fishing rods, cast out, hit the same clip, pull the rod to 12 o'clock, feel it down, and it'll be in exactly the same spot that I've been plumbing around earlier. So without further ado, I've measured the spod rod out. Got a nice bucket of bait here. I'm going to spot it out there. Might take a few hours to get them going, but it's the greater good, you know, for the greater good, sorry. Get a few fish in the area, get them feeding, oil come off the spot, and hopefully I should get a few. Right, we're coming into the evening now. Had no action throughout the day, but I've got the rods onto a spot. I've got a little bit of pellet out there, and with fingers crossed, you know, the temperature's going to drop tonight, and fishing in 12 feet, you know, that with the temperature dropping, bit of rain should force the fish down. Then they should come into contact with that pellet, and hopefully they won't be able to resist. Fingers crossed, we should see some fish on the bank in the morning. Would you believe it? Cameraman shot home to get his hair cut, and the rod's rattled off for this little fella. Fortunately, he weren't too far away, called him up and he's come straight back so we could get him on film. Lovely little fish, and hopefully it's the start of a few to come this evening. Right, a really quiet night considering, you know, I was quite confident yesterday, but another angler turned up and it was all getting a bit tight out there, and I moved one of my rods off the bait, and it all went a bit peach on really. This morning I was panicking, putting 2 zigs out there, nothing happened on them. One of the rods back on the bait, done a bite, but whatever happened, it got off, you know. It was sort of, the leg clip had nearly disengaged, but it hadn't completely come off, and the fish had just basically done me. So with that indication that they were still eating on the spot, I put all 3 out there, spotted some more bait out there, some more whole boilies, because I was getting paranoid that the roach and rudd were eating all the little bits and pieces, and it's not been out there long, probably another half an hour and we're into a fish here. Feels like quite a good one, probably a 20 pounder. With any luck, I'll show them to you shortly. Get in there. Go on. Lovely. Right, we're into another one. Still got that first one in the net, that common. Just goes to show, 3 rods on the spot, get a bit of bait round it. There's every chance you can get a hit. Let's see if we can get this one in, get the rod back out there and see if we can get a couple more. Oh, get in there.
To begin with,
how about this to kickstart the morning? Was completely losing the plot earlier, but a little change of tactics, and this cracking 24 pounder coming. I'm going to get him back and give you a quick look at the other one. Right, here he is, the other little common. This one's probably about 17, 18 pounds, but a great way to get the morning underway. I'm really thinking if I get some more bait back on that spot, keep turning it over, there's a good chance of some more action. Not definitely promising, can't guarantee it, but with the weather like this, there's definitely a chance. Let's get him back. Right, it's coming to the end of the session. It's been fairly successful, like I said. We've had 4 fish. We probably could have had more, but that is carp fishing, you know. You have to live by the decisions that you make, and they're based on what you see, really. We came to the lake, we found some fish, we cast out our little sticks, and we managed to nick one quick, and that's a great tactic to start with. You know, you don't want to go straight in with a marker rod and bomb your swim to bits. So we caught one like that. It warmed up in the afternoon, and I decided to take the time to have a lead around while I thought the fish were off the bottom. Found myself a nice spot, put a load of bait out there, and it was all looking really, really good. But when choosing my spot, I picked it. It was too far out really, and too far to the right. It was getting towards another swim, and the worst case scenario happened. Another angler turned up, and I was forced to move. Well, not move swim, but move position of my rod. So all that time and effort to mark the spot, put the bait out, was sort of wasted in effect. And I ended up fishing the night with 2 single PVA little bags of pellets out there, and it didn't produce anything. In the morning, I had a little panic up, decided to go on the zigs because I thought that still could be off the bottom, and I still had 1 rod on the baited patch. The 1 rod on the baited patch had a bit of an indication, sort of an aborted take or possible liner, I'm not sure exactly, but because of that indication, took the 2 zigs off, put all 3 rods back on the spot, the original spot that I'd found, rebaited it, and I was rewarded with 2 quick bites with a lovely 24 pound common and the other common with a split tail. So all in all, it's all been good, but just bear it in mind when you're doing your own fishing that you have to read the situation in front of you and make the decisions, and that should help you to catch more fish.